Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's mini manifesting class. Today, what we're going to do, let me just adjust. We're going to talk about how to turn on or nurture your feminine side when you have no choice or you're often operating from your masculine side. Especially as female entrepreneurs, we are naturally in our masculine mode. And it's so important as entrepreneurs and as successful entrepreneurs that we learn how to balance both sides, the masculine and feminine. Because as I mentioned, as female entrepreneurs, you are naturally in your masculine mode where you are thinking, you are doing, you are decision making, you are just lit up and fired up with your purpose, and you're very purpose driven. And you're giving a lot, right? That's a lot of the features of the masculine side. And you may feel turned on and tuned into that side, and you exercise that side very well. But what happens is when we are just operating in the masculine side, more often than not, and not in a balanced way, we start building up this pressure. We start feeling like, when you kind of start outgrowing your jeans or shoes, and you start feeling that pressure and that push. And what we tend to do is push more, push past that, do more. And then what that inevitably leads to is manifesting into burnout or feeling chronic fatigue, or just manifesting into sicknesses or just constant colds and flus, and I am getting over a cold from my kids from daycare. And to be honest, I didn't really have much time to rest during that time because I got sick right on the weekend when the kids come home. So I was very much a lot in doing mode, but I did make conscious moments. I was still intentional and was still aware of what was going on in the moment, and took as many opportunities as possible to nurture the feminine. So I share that to say that you don't need to be perfect in this at all. But I do think it's a practice we need to get into, we need to nurture, and we need to be very intentional about this if you want to continue being successful in business, and if you really want to take your business to the next level, because you can't keep operating the way you are if you want to get to the next level, and if you want to do this in a sustainable, nurturing, pleasurable way. Okay, so that's number one. But I'm going to share some tips how to do that. I'm sharing why we need to do this first, and then I'm going to go into some tips. So I have my notes here. So next, now that we know that business is very masculine oriented, and yes, we can bring in more feminine. I want you to be more feminine within business. We can talk about that at the end. So if you have any questions and comments, please leave it as this is coming up, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Leave comments. I will come back and check. Be sure to tag me. So now that we know that we're often very masculine in our masculine when we are in business, and here's another thing I notice as well, and something for you to check in with yourself, is that people are like, I love my business so much. I love what I do. I just can't turn myself off. Like even on evenings, even on weekends, or on long holidays, I want to work. And that's beautiful if it's coming from desire. But I want you to take a moment and really check in. Is it coming from desire, or is it coming from drive? That's coming from two different places. What do I mean? Drive is often from the masculine. It's coming like thinking about a car that's already going 100 miles per hour on the highway, and you're just on that fast beating car. It already has this momentum, and you get into that car, it's just gonna go, and you can't just stop right away. Versus when it's coming from desire, it's coming from stillness, it's coming from the feminine side, it's birthed from being, it's birthed from who you truly are at the core, it's birthed from the internal source of you, from this good feeling space where you can consciously choose. And it's it's life-giving, it's life force energy. Okay, so there's a difference from you coming from this fast beating car versus life force energy within you. So you just want to check in with that. Is that this desire to work all the time? Where is that coming from? And if it is coming from this life force energy, this drive and this pull, then so be it. That's beautiful. I just want you to do this from a conscious space. Because what you want to also be conscious of is that if we're not aware of that, then it's harder to move into and nurture the feminine side, because you need to balance the feminine side, because this is a space where where life is birthed, right? When you even just think of women in general, it's not whether you can have a baby or not, but the feminine is what brings ideas to life. It's about procreation. It's about creation. It's where we feel. It's where we get actually the vision and we birth it. So the feminine side is the creator, and the masculine side is actually the manifester, hence the word manifester, right? So what that looks like energetically is like the feminine side is what births the ideas, what brings things to life. It's where the desire comes, it's where that feeling comes, and then the masculine is there to support it, to hold it and carry it out with the decision making, with the actions, with the thinking, and taking that forward. So this is why it's important to start balancing the feminine and how we can start bringing the feminine more into business. Because when we can start bringing the feminine more into business, it's more pleasurable. We feel good. We show up really in our true divine core power. As female entrepreneurs, at the core, you are feminine energy. We all have masculine and feminine energies. Males, anatomy wise, have core masculine energy. Now, whether we're operating from the healthy masculine or healthy feminine, or from the core of us, that's a different story. But as female entrepreneurs, at the core, you are core feminine energy dominant. So you are meant to feel desire. You are meant to create. You are meant to feel pleasure and have fun and feel and receive. Okay, so if you are feeling like business is stagnant, if you are feeling like you don't have the creative energy, if you feel like you just lost the spark in business, that means we haven't been nurturing and operating and coming dominantly from our feminine. So how do we do that? I have a couple of things for you. So let me think here before I move on to these things. There's anything else I want to say about this, because I really want to stress the importance of coming and switching into our feminine. And this is no way to downplay or villainize the masculine side. As I mentioned, that is there. It's so beautiful. And I think we're all really good at that. And it has brought us so far, and we can see what it's birthed in our lives, our businesses, our homes, our families. And we have an idea and we bring it to life, and we have supported. And as female entrepreneurs, not only do we birth the idea, we carry out the idea, we manifest it, right? And that's so beautiful. It's not something to shut off. Now is just an opportunity to check back in, to pivot, to show up more consciously, create more consciously, and be more intentional, so that we show up more powerfully, so that we are receiving more, so that we are being a greater service to people, making a greater impact. We are giving in that way and then receiving greatly as well, right? So if you are feeling the signs of burnout or pressure or push or force or often getting sick, I often look at sicknesses as also like an upgrade, like an energetic upgrade, an immune upgrade, an upgrade in so many levels of shedding the old and stepping into a new body, a new being, new cells. That's how we want to start looking at. Not that you can avoid being sick or avoid growth or avoid expansion, but what I want to move you towards is seeing this as an opportunity to tune back into your feminine, to tune back into your power, because this is where you're going to start birthing those $1 million ideas. This is where you're going to start having more pleasure and fun in your business. This is how you're really going to start changing the world and changing your world and your community and the people in your world, because they're seeing you come from this balanced state, from your true divine power. And that's really what all of us are doing, whether you're a coach or a consultant or, an entrepreneur. I believe we all, end of the day, are here to change the world, and we want to change it in our unique, specific, gifted way. And we can only do that to its highest potential when we are showing up from our truest core power, in our core energy, in our core, in our inner being. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense regarding the importance of nurturing your feminine, coming from a conscious state, from your feminine energy. Now the question is like, how do I do that? Most people wait until they're really sick, until they are forced to be in bed, until, they're really tired or pressure, or they're forced to go through these ego deaths and, things really slow down, or they think they have to close the doors to the business. That was me. So, and this was just an opportunity to go deeper into my feminine. In fact, a short little story is like 3 years ago, I hit a milestone in my business of hitting first 6 figures. And although that was something I was aiming for, after that, it went down completely. I should say completely, but it did drop in so many ways. The income was cut by more than half. Business slowed down. I wasn't feeling good. My body was so out of sorts. There were just so many things going on mentally, emotionally, energetically, financially. And now I could see the gifts in that. And now I could see is because I wasn't connected to my true divine energy. And that's my feminine energy, because that's where the divine flows. That's where things are birthed. That's where we receive ideas. That's where we receive, income and people and all those things, right? All the things that we desire. When we're operating in a wounded, in the wounded masculine, I have to work, I have to do, that's the only way to be successful. I have to think, I have to over analyze, I have to do, I have to over all those things. It puts things out of balance. It just puts the scale out of balance. So that was a big learning lesson. And even though masculine and feminine energy has always been something I tapped into in my work, it's funny how, like, you really, if it's your work that you have to go through. So there are a lot of lessons, so many beautiful things came from that challenging time. So from that, these are 2 things I would highly recommend that you do to start nurturing. And it's so easy to bring this into your daily routine. So this will nurture your feminine side, but this will give you an opportunity to check in consciously every day of where you land on your feminine side. Okay, so it's almost like I talked about this in my manifest membership about, it's like if the masculine side is the right side, and it's like just lifting weights and just working out the right arm the whole time. Yes, that's going to be strong. That's going to get bulky, but it's also going to get tired. And then what happens with the left side, the feminine side, it's going to be weak. The muscles are going to be loose. It's not going to be as strong. We need to balance those muscles. We want to lift those weights, right? And balance those sides. So here are 2 things you can do to start strengthening, nurturing, and tuning in consciously into your feminine. So number 1, start your morning with a slow morning routine. Okay. Now, don't say I'm busy with kids. Don't have enough time. I have 2 little ones. I know what it means. Okay. So there are ways around this. There's a ways through this. So a slow morning routine. 2 questions to ask yourself. What would feel good to your system, your nervous system right now? 1 question to ask yourself. What would feel good to your nervous system right now? What would feel good to my body right now is another question. And how can I nurture myself in this moment? So this is a question that I highly encourage you to use at the very beginning of the day. And even throughout the day, or even ask yourself right now, what would feel most nourishing to me in the morning? And that could mean This is what my morning looks like. I wake up in the morning and I do a clearing statement. And I say, everything I was being yesterday, I now destroy, uncreate, and let that all go. So I release any old stagnant energy, any resistance, who I was the day before, and I expand my energy. I take my, there's so many techniques I can show you, take you through, but this is some stuff I teach in my monthly manifest program, my membership. But I expand my energy. And so I'm starting my space from a clear, energetic space, and my energy is expanded and it's open. Okay. So I let go of the past, and I also am very present, and I'm expanded and open in the moment to receive to all the good that's going to come next. So this is a practice that can take about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. You can also wake up earlier. I personally don't want to wake up early in this phase of my life with little ones. Sleep is important to me. So getting that 7 to 8 hour sleep is important. So that's what I'm focused on right now. But if this feels good to you to wake up an hour before the household, if you have young ones, if you have older ones, if that feels good to you, do that. I think it's so great. I will eventually move to that, but it's just not where I am right now or what I want right now. So I have a quick 30-second practice, and then I move into being with my kids. And I'm also in those moments really trying to be mindful of how I set my family's nervous system, right? We used to be like, oh my God, we only have 20 minutes left. You gotta hurry up. You gotta get your shoes on, blah, blah, blah. You have to eat. And it was just this frantic energy. And I realized even my kids were waking up, and that was how the tone and the frequency I was setting for our family in the morning. And I was like, no, I'm going to change that. So even setting the intention of a calm, slow morning, no matter what you have to do, is so beautiful. Okay. And so after that, I get them out the house. I then go for my walk. I meditate. I do yoga. I stretch. I do all of those things, or just one or two of those things, depending what I need or what I desire, what my body feels in that moment. And so my morning practice happens after the kids are out the house and my husband, because I really love uninterrupted, intentional time for me. And at a slow pace. So sometimes my routine would be 30 minutes or 2 hours. And then I only schedule myself to start at 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock, depending on the day. But most days things start at 11 or even noon for me. And then I work until 4 or 5 o'clock. So that's the first thing I want to say. So choose a slow morning routine. It could be 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours, whatever you're able to do. Work your way up to that. But it's so important to start your day connected to your power, because it's really going to determine how the next hour and the next days are going to go. Okay. So come up with that slow morning routine, whatever that looks like for you. And it must feel good. So drop it and let me know what would feel so good and nourishing to you. And what are you committing to do? What can you commit to? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. I just commit to that and state it below. Next, I want you to practice. I want you to structure your day. Start with even just an intention, but this is how I would like you to structure your day: to receive in the morning, give in the middle of the day, and receive at the end of the day. This may feel a little awkward because, whoa, now you can see how your whole day was about giving. Your whole day was about operating in the masculine. Your whole day is about doing and thinking. Now you can see where this imbalance has been, right? Or maybe you're like, oh, I'm doing pretty good and I could just tweak here, or I'm going to continue, whatever it is. But if you can start structuring your day in receiving mode, feminine mode, giving in masculine mode, and then receiving in feminine mode again, you are spending more time in your power than out of your power. You are spending more time leading from your powers, because then from that feminine space, that nurturing space of receiving, of feeling, of pleasure, of slowness, of stillness, of everything that is embodied in the feminine and being mode, that's what the feminine is about, then that will then feed into when you move into the giving mode, the masculine mode, from that calmness, that nurturing, those ideas, that flow, that clarity, that release of resistance from this well-nurtured, satiated space, is then that's how you are showing up, who you're being into your business. That's what you're bringing into your business. That is who you are being in business. And that's what you are going to give out to your world, to your clients, to your people, to people watching. That's what you're going to exude. This will make you more powerful. This would make you makes the masculine, it inspires the masculine, it helps the masculine show up more powerfully in their masculine, in its masculine, right? And I was thinking I could go into the whole relationship aspect, but I'll save that for another day. But then after that is complete and full, right? Even like you've heard me say, I work like from 11 to 4, 5, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are my work days where I really work on my business or in my business within those 3 days. But most often, the way I have structured my business, I am doing, it's so simple, it's so pleasurable, it's so fun. I actually am doing more. I'm making a greater impact, I believe. I believe in what I'm doing more. I'm giving more. I'm more potent and powerful in what it is that I do give out. And the receiving has been more easy and effortless and abundant than ever before. I'm doing way less than I ever did in 10 years of my business and receiving way more. But it took some time. It took some tweaking. It took these practices of receiving, giving, receiving, tuning into my feminine, nurturing my feminine, operating from my feminine more often than not. And it's still a practice to this day. I'm not perfect all the time, but when I do plug back into this space, I plug back into my power, things flow, things are effortless, things are abundant. And like I mentioned, I feel better. I'm showing up more powerfully. I'm therefore then giving out and giving more effectively, giving more powerfully, making greater impact and receiving. And the clients that are showing up are more and more aligned, are more and more abundant. I'm having more fun in my business. The ideas are flowing back in. I have the spark back in my business. There obviously, if you've been in business, there probably a couple of times you wanted to end things or end your business and crash and burn everything. I definitely had a couple of those. But now I truly feel the way I feel right now because I'm tuned in, tapped into my feminine side, tuned in, tapped in to my core being, to my core power. I don't really feel like I'm going to have a crash and burn moment anymore. I may want to pivot. I may want to expand. I may want to change things, but it's not going to come at the detriment of this doom and gloom and struggle and fight and burn everything to the ground that I will at this pace, I'm just going to be expanding and evolving. And I can do that much further and faster and without having to take these breaks or this big crash and burn. Okay, so that's how we avoid that. Those are my 2 steps for you today. Let me know how this resonates with you, how these 2 practices resonate with you, and how it lands for you in tuning back into your feminine, because your feminine is your true power. It's where everything is birthed. It's where we create. And when we take the time to anchor and nurture and trust and lead from that space, that is what's going to make the greatest impact in your world and in the entire world and in this community, in any community that you lead. Okay, so I hope this resonates with you. Leave your comments, leave your biggest ahas below. And also I want to share with you my invitation to join the Manifest membership. This is my monthly membership where I teach, I do a live group call where I'm teaching you how to plug back into your power. This is for powerful women, powerful beings who are ready to plug back into the power to manifest greater, faster, in every way, in your money, in your business, in your life. And I share with you powerful and potent tools. I lead and guide you in a live group call, and then we do some Q&A as well. And then also every week you get manifestation momentum activations where I leave these audio drops for you to pick up your momentum, plug back into your power, and continue on that trajectory of manifesting your big vision. More money, more freedom, more time, more fun, more pleasure, more travel, whatever it is that you want. It's only going to come when you plug back into your power. It will come to you regardless. It can come through pressure and force, or it can come through pleasure. And we're all about pleasure. And that comes from when you anchor and master your plugging back into your power and your being. So that's what the Manifest program is about. You also get a monthly Q&A with me. Drop a question. I leave a customized audio for you, and we go deep, we go powerful, and it's only $100. It starts at $100 per month and up to $150 depending on which package you go. Pay as you go, 6-month or 12-month commitment. It is my most affordable price point to enter into and get this full mentorship and full support in a group setting. And you get a Telegram community as well. And it's so loving. It's so fun. High vibes there. But this is the place to be, to stay plugged in to your power, into your manifesting abilities, and manifest more powerfully now and in the future. These are things you're going to take with you always. So if you have any questions, let me know below, but I'll also leave the link below. Thank you so much for listening and watching. See you all next week.